Hey, friends. Good afternoon. Welcome. I am so excited to be here. So excited to have everybody here live with me. This is a live cast for learning about the Enneagram. My name is Vanessa Fernandez, and I'm the founder of the Enneagram Workshop, where we believe the Enneagram should work for you and the Enneagram should make your life better in some way. And so I just decided, why don't I start teaching on this in a little bit more of an intense fashion? Aggressive number right here. So anything I do is going to be intense. Sorry, guys. Sorry, not sorry. I'm in the middle of a series right now called 10 Days, 10 Ways, where I'm taking 10 days to teach you 10 ways that the Enneagram makes your life better, because it should make your life better. I mean, it's an awesome thing to study, and it's super cool to know that there's a system that understands who you are and why you do the things you do. But it's even cooler when you can actually make your life better with that information. Am I right? So we're on day 3 today. Day 1, we dove into how the Enneagram makes parenting better. It's so helpful to know our type, our stance, and how that affects our parenting. Help us be mindful, help us move through parenting, which is so difficult. So that was day 1. By the way, as you're coming on here, give me a wave, give me some hearts, give me your name, tell me your type. I just love seeing everybody on here. Day 2, which was yesterday, I dove into some of the unintended side effects of learning the Enneagram, where I kind of laid out for you guys my super secret plan for using the Enneagram to make us better people and to find freedom. Hi, Melinda. Hey, Gordon. And how the Enneagram helps us find freedom, how the Enneagram helps us to understand where we are in the map. Ooh, yeah, type 3s, type 7s. I've got all my aggressive numbers on here today, type 5s. Love it. So we talked yesterday about how the Enneagram is like a map, and it helps us find our way to freedom. And each type is on a different place in that map, so we've all got a little bit of a different journey, but the destination is the same and the map is the same. So that was yesterday. Today is all about relationships. We are going to talk about how the Enneagram makes relationships better. Hey, Stephanie. Oh, I see so many good people on here. So who has already seen the Enneagram help you in your relationships? If you have already seen the Enneagram help you in your relationships, throw me a little thumbs up, an emoji, something like that. I think I was just having a conversation this morning. This is like one of the most easy applications that we see in the Enneagram, because we not only understand ourselves better, we understand others better. And unless we can understand someone, the only other option we have is to judge them. I'm going to say that again. Unless we really understand someone, the only other option we have is to judge them when they act in a way that doesn't make sense with the way we see the world. We either understand where they're coming from and practice empathy, or we judge them. Those are our only 2 options. And the Enneagram helps us understand and keeps us from doing so much of the judging. This is why it's such a gift to us. So, I'm going to talk 3 ways that the Enneagram helps us in our relationships. And relationships are a 2-way street. So I'm going to talk about others and ourselves. We're not going to be able to change others, but we can understand them. So this is the others part. The Enneagram helps us to increase our compassion for others as we understand them better. So here is my growth activity for you. Every time that I teach, every time that I do one-on-one typing sessions, every time that I do any type of session with someone, I always end with a little homework. I'm starting with it today. And my growth activity that I want you to consider doing, find that person that you are having a little bit of friction with. First of all, let me back up for a minute. Any Enneagram work that we do always starts with observation. We always start with observing the lay of the land. So before you even take any action to make a relationship better, you have to understand what the problem is. If you're a doctor and you give someone medicine without understanding all the symptoms, without understanding all of the scenarios that they're experiencing pain in, without doing your research, you're going to misdiagnose and mistreat and possibly make things worse. So oftentimes in relationships, we jump right to the treatment before understanding what the actual problem is in our relationships. And this happens not just in relationships, in many areas of life. We skip the observation part because we just want to fix it. Because nobody likes having a relationship that is strained. Nobody likes having a relationship that is in conflict or in pain point. We feel pain. We want relief. I'm going to encourage you, though, any relationship you have that you're feeling friction is, you have to get a lay of the land. So I want you to observe what's going on in your relationship, but without judgment. So if you're feeling friction with someone, you cannot feel shame over the fact that you're having a strained relationship with them. You cannot allow yourself to go down roads of regret. You cannot allow judgment to be that heavy burden, because it's going to stop you from continuing the observation. It's going to become another painful situation that you don't want to encounter, and so you will skip over it. So observe your relationship without judgment. Okay, this is what's happening. This is the scenario that we keep having the same argument over and over and over again. These are the patterns that are coming up. These are the conversations that we always have. This is how I always feel when I'm done being with this person. Get a lay of the land first before we try to treat this relationship. And once you get a lay of the land, and especially if you know that person's type, my growth activity for you is learn as much as you can about their type. Like, dive deep, almost as if it was your type. Did anybody else, when they learned their type, just started like consuming all the information they could about their type? So it was like, oh my gosh, this is me. I got to learn everything there is to know about this one number. And then all the other numbers, you're kind of like, oh, I don't really know much about that number. I don't really know much about that number, but I know my number. And you could say it like the back of your hand. I want you to make the person who you're having difficulty with, I want you to make their number so familiar to you, you know it like the back of your hand. And here's why. The more time you spend in someone else's shoes, the more time you allow for compassion to become developed in your heart for that person. I'll never forget, there was this person in my husband's life who was a type 1. And over again, there was friction over, and it was in a work environment, there was friction over how this type 1, who was admittedly unhealthy, was coming down hard on my husband, was expressing lots of anger towards my husband. And it was just it is very difficult when the person you're having friction with is in an unhealthy space, is not self-aware. All of these things make it that much more difficult to foster compassion for that person. So I told my husband, listen, let's take a step back and let's just do a bunch of research into type 1s. Let's go deep, man. Let's learn about their childhood wound. Let's learn about why they feel the way they feel, why they express anger the way they express anger. Next thing I knew, we were both sitting reading through some stuff about type 1s in tears, both of us in tears, brokenhearted over the way that type 1s are hard on themselves, over the childhood wound that type 1s never felt good enough, over just so many parts of type 1 that we had never taken the time to go into. The minute that we allowed ourselves to step into those shoes, our hearts were broken. We prayed for this person. we treated them with such kindness and tenderness, even in the face of anger and animosity and nitpicking and all the things. This person hadn't changed, but our compassion for this person had completely overwhelmed all of the bitterness and struggle that we were having. And there's still moments. It's not like I'm saying now we have no troubles with this person, but if you take time to dive deep into the number of the person you are having trouble with, and you allow yourself to soften and have compassion for them, right then and there, you're going to be able to get rid of about half or more of all the issues that you have between that person. You are going to be so brokenhearted and be able to speak to them in such a gentle and kind way that it's no longer about you and how you're offended by them. And it's now about them and the bondage that they're in. And your heart can just swell with love for them. So this is my first encouragement for your relational struggles that you're having. Get to know the other person's type. Okay, my second growth activity advice that I'm going to give you about relationships. And guys, thank you for being here. I am not going easy on you. And I realize fully that it is not easy when you are being hurt by someone to try and have compassion for them, to try and take time and get to know. And if you're not in a place where you feel like you can even do that for someone because they've hurt you so much, that's fine. And you can take a step back and say, this relationship is not one I'm ready to heal yet. But this advice is most helpful for those relationships that you are ready to do some work in, that you are ready to heal in. And I think it's very important, especially in our relationships, to have compassion with ourselves and not force ourselves to try and heal every relationship all at once. If you're not in a place where you're ready to heal that relationship, that's fine. There is no rush or judgment or timeline. But those relationships that you know you do need to work on, that's what this is for. All right, so number 2 thing that you can do, I challenge you to explore how that person and the way that they're acting is triggering your type's compulsion and getting in the way of that. Here's what I mean by this. I'm a type 3, and efficiency and productivity are just the most delicious things in the world to me. So delicious. And if I'm not careful, that becomes my compulsion. That becomes what I can't stop. That becomes a bondage to me. And usually, 9 times out of 10, when I'm struggling with someone, it's because they are triggering that compulsion. Let me give you a real life example. I'm going to get super vulnerable here, which I don't care. My husband is a type 9. And type 9s like to take their lovely, sweet time to do everything. And I love him so much. He has taught me so much. He has taught me how to slow down. He has taught me how to love, how to truly love unconditionally. I mean, 9s are just unbelievable. Probably my favorite number in the whole Enneagram, although it's hard for me to pick because I love them all. But when I'm frustrated with him, usually it's because he is triggering my efficiency compulsion. He is impeding me from my productivity. And so I challenge you, when you have someone who is, who you're having some friction with, consider where they are getting at your type's compulsion. And consider if this is an opportunity to start letting that fall away. So my husband, who's a type 9, and his compulsion is peace at all cost. Well, when the type 1 friend that we were just talking about comes in and expresses lots of anger, guess what that does? That just chips away at that desire for peace. That disrupts his compulsion for having a peaceful environment and a peaceful life. So oftentimes, the people we have the most struggle with in relationships, it's because they are hitting us right where it hurts. They are hitting us right where we have this just deep desire, like, don't take this away from me. Don't take away my productivity. Don't take away my efficiency. I need this, and you dare not take it from me. So it's so helpful. This is part of getting that lay of the land that I was talking about, getting that, taking stock that you can properly diagnose the problem before we start to treat it. Look at your relationships. Where in your relationships are people kind of triggering that part of your personality that maybe has you in bondage rather than is actually serving you? My productivity serves me quite well until it becomes my bondage. Type 1's ability to do things to excellence serves them so well until perfectionism becomes their bondage. Type 2's ability to help and love and serve and nurture others serves them very well until that becomes the way that they receive love and validation. Type 4's ability to be unique and special and feel all the feelings serves them so well until it becomes their bondage and they can't move beyond their feelings or they feel crushed by not being known fully. Type 5's ability to wisely understand the world and take it apart and just go deep into a subject and a topic and tear it apart and understand so deeply, it serves them so well until their time and their space to be able to think deeply gets intruded on by others, and now it's a bondage to them. Type 6's ability to bring community together and to feel safe and to be connected to those around them serves them so well until they cannot make a decision without asking everyone around them, and that becomes their bondage. Type 7, their ability to have fun and have joy and have life and live life to the fullest is an amazing gift for them until it becomes their bondage and they never get enough. And type 8's power and ability to move through the world and fight for injustice and stand up to the bullies in the world. And there are so many. We need 8s so badly, especially right now. That is such an amazing gift to them until it becomes their bondage and they cannot let their walls down and be vulnerable. And type 9's ability to love unconditionally, to bring all different viewpoints together, to hold us in unity and not judge, but be able to see from all perspectives is such a blessing to them until it becomes their bondage that they cannot invite in conflict or be comfortable with any type of disruption to their peace. So all of these things, consider, this is my gift. Don't let it become your bondage. And when someone starts poking at it, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe that's a gift for you to start releasing that personality. There is an amazing, I'm going to try and post it in my Instagram stories. There is an amazing graphic, and I don't remember what Instagram account posted it. And it's called Ways That We Settle, ways that each Enneagram number settles. And I don't remember every word, and it's so perfect, I don't want to botch it. But it's basically, we want one thing. Every Enneagram number wants one thing, and we settle for second best. And when you're in a relationship that is triggering at that compulsion, it's actually a gift to allow you to let that go and not settle for second best. All right. Last thing I want to leave you with. I have come up with an alliteration. I'm an English major. I love alliteration. So here's an alliteration, and I'm going to post this in my Instagram account so you can take a look at it if words are your thing, to help us each type focus on where we need to stretch a little into growth so that our relationships can flourish. So for type 1s, my encouragement to you is extend grace and embrace flexibility in your relationships. Extend grace and embrace flexibility. For type 2s, my encouragement to you is enforce your boundaries. Enforce your boundaries. For type 3s, enjoy the small, slow moments of relationship without there needing to be a goal or a point at the end of the hangout time. Type 4s, endure the monotony and the possibility of being misunderstood. It's a part of relationships. Relationships are messy, but if you can endure it, there is a treasure to be held in beautiful, rich relationships. 5s, engage with generosity. Engage with generosity. Oh, I love 5s so much, and I just want to love you, and you don't want us to love you, but we love you. Engage in generosity. Type 6s, establish your own internal strength and your own internal voice. Establish that. Claim it. Hold on to it because it is so powerful. 7s, elect to hold space, even in the hard. Elect to hold space, even in the hard. 8s, entrust those who love you with your whole heart. Entrust those who love you with your whole heart. And 9s, enter into the chaos. Enter into the chaos of relationships, which is messy and not always peaceful, but so worth it. So that's my training for you guys today on relationships. Hopefully this was helpful to you as we considered how to be more compassionate and empathetic towards others by diving deep into their type. And then also considering where is my conflict with others kind of all coming back to my own internal compulsion and that being pricked by others. And where can I use this as a gift to start letting it fall away, to start letting my personality fall away? If you have any questions, feel free to shoot them to me. I can hang out here for a few more minutes. If you have any specific questions about your type in relationships, about how you can grow and having healthier relationships, I do want to mention that I am officially launched my first course on the Enneagram. And I'm so excited about this because it took me a while to figure out how I wanted to present the Enneagram to the world. I know I'm going deep into my 4-wing right now, guys, where I just really want things to be beautiful and wonderful. And I decided to do this course, which is, yes, teaching you the Enneagram, but also coaching you the Enneagram, because if you haven't noticed, I have no qualms about challenging you to growth. I have no qualms about coaching you to be the best you that you can be, because that's what the Enneagram does. And so it teaches you the Enneagram. Check it out. Check out if that course would be helpful to you. If you're at the point in your Enneagram journey where you're ready to stop just looking at memes or just learning about it and you want to actually make your life better from it, then this would be the perfect place for you to start diving deeper. And I would be so honored to have you and get to work with you. All right. I don't see any questions, so I'm going to say peace out for right now. Thanks for joining me, guys. And I hope that your relationships are so much better from this session. Bye, everyone. See ya later.